It's one of the fastest growing school districts in the state. It's also one of the most contentious.
Whatever happened to common decency? There will be a time that we will bring back. There maybe have to be physical arms in this fight.
To talk about the challenges facing the schools in St. Johns County and also the school board is Noah Hertz. He's a reporter for Jacksonville Today, and he covers St. Johns County for Jacksonville Today. Welcome, Noah.
Hi, thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you for being here. We heard that was one bite, but there have been numerous hours of really contentious meetings in St. Johns County, as you know, in many school boards around the country. But this race is with it's going to be two key seats that are up for election on the school board that will likely be decided, or almost certainly be decided in the August primary.
So one of the seats will 100% be decided in the primary. That is the seat, the District 2 race. There's only two candidates in that race. That one's going to be decided. In District 5, there are 4 candidates, and since these are nonpartisan races, it's not the way it is with a lot of other races around St. Johns County, where you've got just Republicans and maybe one write-in candidate or one independent candidate running. So District 2 for sure, District 5 is a little more up in the air as far as whether it'll be decided in August.
And because these are nonpartisan, everybody can vote if they're in that district. Is that right?
Yes, but only if you're in that district, exactly. So District 2 and District 5, people can only vote for those specific candidates.
And we should note, in November, one of several ballot amendments that's going to be something that voters can decide on is whether to return partisan designation to candidates in school board races.
Yeah, it's a really interesting case in St. Johns County, especially since there was some really excellent reporting from my colleague Megan Malakote this morning in our newsletter and on our website that talked about how Dean Black in the Duval County area is one of the main drivers of this amendment on the ballot to push for partisan school board races in St. Johns County, since it is such a red county. If you bring back the partisan races to the school board, there's a very likely chance you're going to end up the way it is in races for, say, the county commission, where since we are a closed primary state, only Republicans can vote for Republicans in the primary. And take one of the county commission races, for example. You've got a race where you've got multiple Republican candidates and then one independent or one write-in candidate. And that closes up the primary, which means that only Republicans get to vote on who is going to be the Republican on the ballot in November, functionally kind of deciding those elections early. So you've still got, at least in the case of, District 5, the school board race here in St. John's, 4 candidates that everybody in that district is going to be able to vote on since it is a nonpartisan primary.
And presumably in a red county, if you attach a partisan designation to a candidate, that will affect who people vote for. Currently, they may not know somebody's alignment.
For sure, yeah. And District 5 is an interesting example. The 4 candidates running, 3 of them are currently registered as Republicans, and one of them is registered as a Democrat. Of the 3 Republicans, one of them, Linda Thompson, has been endorsed by the local Republican Executive Committee. Now, there is some frustration there among some Republican groups within the county because Thompson is she is a member of the Republican Executive Committee. She is, I believe, their secretary. She is a member. She does things with that committee, and so there's some frustration that maybe she was endorsed because she does that. But you've got that going on the Republican side, and then as much as a Democrat side there can be in a nonpartisan race, you've got another candidate, Liliana Bristow, who is a registered Democrat and has been endorsed by the local Democratic Party. So, these are nonpartisan races, but to truly call them nonpartisan, I think, would be pretty incorrect at this point.
Because you can pretty easily figure out, based on their endorsements, where they're aligned.
Absolutely. Yeah, their endorsements. And also, I will say, like, you played that clip up at the top from, I believe, 2022, one of the school board meetings. I think it would be very easy to expect that the elections for school board in St. Johns County would be very centered around these culture war issues that have been such a hot topic at school boards around the country and around the state especially. But I think if you pulled aside any candidate running for school board in St. Johns County, they would tell you that the number one issue in the county is overcrowding because of the fast growth in that county. I truly, genuinely think that every single one of them would put that 3 places above any kind of culture war issue.
That's interesting. And we should note one of the reasons that we're talking to you is you're going to be hosting a candidate forum. They've invited you to moderate this discussion among these candidates in these two key races. That's going to be August 8th.
Yep, August 8th, 5 to 6:30 p.m. at, I believe you have the address somewhere nearby at
The
one of
main
the libraries.
library.
Yep.
Yeah, in St. Augustine.
Mhm.
So you'll be moderating that discussion. What are you going to be looking for? What kinds of questions do you want to get answered?
So I want to note that that is a debate that is being co-hosted by two organizations. It's the American Association of University Women and the League of Women Voters, two nonpartisan groups that have very specific issues that they tend to focus on, but they are nonpartisan. They don't endorse candidates in races, and I think the things that all of us are really interested in are exactly that. What are these candidates most interested in? And since you're talking to a St. Johns County audience, an audience of people who have felt the continued constriction of their county rapidly growing, of the need for schools growing and growing and growing, I think top of mind is how do we deal with that? How do we find the funding to continue to build new schools? How do we make sure that children are not packed into classrooms with 30 kids in the meantime while schools are being built? Because you can't just build a school overnight. That's something that the school board is dealing with. They've got a long list of schools they're working on building, but that takes time, and the county is growing faster than they can build schools.
As at those school board meetings, though, do you anticipate a lot of kind of culture war issues coming up in the context of audience questions?
I think it's possible, but I really think top of mind for most people in the county is how do we ensure that this really highly rated school district in the state of Florida stays at that level? Whether that is because we want to ensure that the classrooms aren't packed, we want to ensure, at the beginning of this month, there were more than 100 vacancies in St. Johns County. Part of that is because St. Johns County just does not pay as well as some of the surrounding school districts. And, part of the argument is, well, you get to live in St. Johns County. It's a great place to live. There's a lot going on. But if you can hop right over to Duval and there's just as many, if not more, vacancies and they pay better, I think these are the things that people are chiefly concerned about. Like, there's still been plenty of conversation in recent years about, what books should students have access to in the classroom and this kind of thing. And St. Johns County was at the center of all kinds of things about who should be able to use what bathroom and this kind of thing. But I don't think those are top of mind for a lot of candidates.
Well, Noah Hertz, we look forward to the results of your August 8th panel moderation. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.